broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 45 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, as always, here with Damon and Trevor. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, a lot of different things going on. There's some really cool new footage of a Beauty and the Beast ride that's opening at Tokyo Disney. There's some interesting speculation we're going to take on today. I think that's going to be kind of fun. We got some Moonlight Magic news, which is always exciting. But before we do all that, I want to talk about, I've talked about the show for a couple episodes now about putting in a offer on a contract at Animal Kingdom, resale contract through our friends over at DVC Resale Market. Well, I was just waiting for the right of first refusal to be waived by Disney, and that has happened. So really excited. So I officially, not officially, I guess yet. I guess I still have to send them money in order to be official, right?
Yeah.
Until I pay them money, I'm not official, right?
Yeah, but this is kind of the big hurdle to getting any contract, I guess, right? So,
yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you. And one of the things we talked about with this was having the different use years, right? Mm-hmm. And through our conversation, we got a bunch of emails from listeners about this one.
Great.
So, well, because as we're a DVC show, of course, but none of us had bought, a separate contract that was a different use year. So maybe this was just knowledge we didn't need. So now we're getting some knowledge from our listeners. But a couple of the different things here I wanted to bring up because we had a couple different people write in a couple different things. So listener Newell wrote in, and I hope I said that right, so sorry if I didn't, Newell. He let me know about different use years, about there's rules behind these contracts. And I thought this was interesting because I didn't know this. And this is actually really pertinent to what's going on with me because I think I told the show that next year when I go to Disney, we are staying at Animal Kingdom in a 2-bedroom, and we're going to be combining points with friends of the family. So they're going to transfer points over to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out if you have different use years and 2 membership numbers, each membership is only allowed to have 1 transfer of points in and out of it per use year, which I did not know.
Oh, yeah, that makes it harder.
It does, right?
Yeah.
So, because I was just going to take my new Animal Kingdom points, transfer those over to my other contract, and then use all those together. But I can't do that now because I'm going to have transferred points from our friends, and then I can't. So now, given there's a way around this, I can just borrow points from my next year contract, and then I'll just bank all my points from the Animal Kingdom contract to next year, and just use all my Animal Kingdom contracts points next year. But still, it was something I didn't realize. So,
yeah, that's definitely a good You really got to think about the math, right?
Yeah,
because they only give you 1 shot per year, and I guess. The reasoning is sound, I think, because it stops people from, I want to say, abusing the 11th month rule.
Yeah.
Right? Because then, people could start making deals with other people so, they transfer all their points to, book an 11 month and,
I think people do that, though. I mean, there are people that trade points. Like, I've heard of people doing, like, if they have Grand Californian points and someone wants to stay at Grand Californian, but they want to stay at, like, Animal Kingdom. I've heard of people, like, I don't know how they work that out, though.
I mean, there's trading bookings is one thing, but I think they want to stop, people from, like, funneling all their points into one account, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just, like, I feel like they should waive that rule if it's the same owner, even though it's 2 memberships.
But again, the danger of that is, somebody could, set up a rental type system, right? Where they're booking everything up using a whole bunch of different accounts, but again, all funneling it into one account. So I
get it.
So sorry, this is my IT side looking at it.
No,
so
it makes total sense.
I'm like, yeah, this makes sense.
It's like, what's the loophole, right? People are always going to find the loophole. That's
exactly.
So, but so that's something I didn't know, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I'm not that upset about it. Now, Damon was talking on our last episode. We were talking about Damon's trip.
Mm-hmm.
And Damon was saying that, he brought up, well, what if I cancel? Like, how soon do I have to cancel to keep my points? and we were talking about holding points. And basically what happens is if you cancel before within 31 days of your reservation, your points go into holding. Well, one of the things that was brought up during that is Newell, again, pointed this out to us. Newell, you know a lot more about points than we do, so thank you. Thank you for chipping in on this. But basically, you can only use those points during your current use year as long as the reservation is booked 60 days or less before the new check-in date. So that complicates things a little bit.
So that means you can't. So if you
can't
cancel,
book ahead of time, basically.
Yeah. You're stuck within 2 months, right? Which, that makes it really hard to rebook things if you have to cancel 31 days in.
I mean, I know, Damon, you said you weren't planning on canceling anyway, or not going to run into that.
I haven't even booked yet, right? So I still got. I still got what, 2 weeks? About 2 weeks before I have to book. Somewhere in that land, so I'm not too worried about it. Listen, I could find somewhere to stay 2 months out too. That doesn't necessarily bother me either.
and again, this only matters if you cancel within 31 days, right? So like if you if you find out 4 months in that you're not going to do it, then it's really a non-issue.
Yeah, exactly. If you do it outside of 31, you're good.
But then again, like I said, I don't understand what the big deal is. So you just have to. You can still plan a Disney trip and not book your hotel for until 2 months out. Like, I don't understand what the problem with that is, really.
I think for some people the concern is they want a very specific room, and I think that's where.
Yeah, I don't have that concern. So.
And yeah, you're right. Yeah, for you it's not a non-issue because you don't care, but I guess for those listeners that do care about that,
I mean, do people really care that much where they're staying?
Apparently some do.
Apparently some do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I said I don't see it, and again, longer than you guys in DVC, so maybe it's just the fact that I've been to most of the places I want to stay, and I know that I have a bunch more years to stay at the places I want to stay. So if 1 year I had to go somewhere where it wasn't necessarily, exactly where I wanted to go that year, I don't really care. That sort of stuff doesn't bother me so much.
I mean, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I like staying at different resorts.
I'm at Disney, right? And I'm at Disney. What does it really matter?
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I like staying at different places. I usually don't go into things having my heart set on staying at a specific place. But I know a lot of people do, because you see people complaining on the Facebook pages all the time about, not finding availability for the rooms they want.
If they're DVC, I just feel like that's a little short-sighted, right? Because are you going to go to the same resort over and over and over and over and over? No, you would think. Well, listen, I don't know, but
some people do.
Would think.
I'm kind of in love
I think
with
we'd be hard-pressed
right
to find a lot of those people that hit the same resort over and over and over again, though.
Well, Trevor, so far, right? You're one of those people so far.
He's gone twice. Like,
yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I'm still in the honeymoon phase. So I mean, yeah, ask me again in about
10 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. You're still in love with your resort. You still have a lust.
And
for
I like his resort too.
I do too. I love Polly.
And I was there for the worst experience that resort ever experienced, and I still like it. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But I think this is an interesting point to bring that up because it is really an interesting thing, and those holding points can't be banked, they can't be borrowed, they got to be used by the end of the use year, or else they just expire. So yeah, it's a little bit challenging with those.
I will add one thing to that though, for the 60-day thing. I actually got to experience this myself because of my trip last September that I had to change. Is that there is also the hurricane clause, so something to keep in mind as well is that if you have to cancel inside of 31 days because of a hurricane, everything just goes back into your account as per normal.
So you got to hope for a natural disaster, basically.
Well, yeah, but so I mean that's insurance, right? I mean, I guess that's one thing that maybe people shouldn't necessarily freak out about if this is something that they're concerned about. Is well, what happens if like what happened to me was I was literally 5 days out from my trip and I pulled the plug and canceled it, and you don't lose your points in that case if there's a hurricane. So again, don't bet on it, but also don't be afraid of it.
Well, and I guess if I were in a situation where I thought that it might be possible like Damon's talking about, where he might have to cancel within 30 days, maybe I would try to do like a travel insurance or something, because you can do travel insurance on your points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe I would do that. But travel insurance only covers so many things, so it's not always the most robust thing to have. So, okay, well, so I found that interesting. But we also had Tyler write in too. And, so we kind of talked about the cons of having two different membership numbers. Mm-hmm. But Tyler wrote in and told me the pros of having two different memberships. So I thought that was interesting. And he said, your transfer... wait, what? He's saying their transfer between your two memberships to compile your points for reservations does not count to your one. Wait a second. I didn't see that anywhere. So maybe we're wrong about all this. So now we have two listeners telling us two different things.
Maybe your plan is... Well... Yeah, so maybe that's what it is that because you own both contracts, it's not treated the same. So
see, that's what I thought. But then I read the policy, and the policy said otherwise.
Okay, I think this might be worth some clarification from Disney itself.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Yeah. I misread this when I first looked at it, but now that I'm looking at it more, yeah, that he's saying one thing or the other, but the other guy is saying the other thing. So maybe we gotta clarify this with Disney and find out more. Mm-hmm. So listen, I know people tune in this show and like expect us to know everything about DVC. We don't know everything about DVC. There's little minutia, little policies that we don't know. So, we're not going to pretend like we're super experts on stuff. So,
but hey, we're all learning together though, so that's the important thing.
That is the important thing, right?
Yeah.
But I did think this was interesting too. Two memberships give you entitlements for one-time use points, so you can get 48 one-time use points instead of 24. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But you can also, and he didn't write this too. Actually, our friend Chad wrote this to us. He said to me, well, you can also do double wait lists too if you want to. And I was like, oh, I guess I could do that too. So
see which one comes in first. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some pros. There's some pros here. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I wanted to bring it up. Obviously I'm going to continue talking about this as I go through the process. The last step of this now is, obviously the closing piece. And there's some sort of thing that Disney does. I forget what it's called, but I got to fill out a bunch of paperwork and I got to pay them, and then they'll be closing and I'll get all my stuff. So we'll continue on this journey together, but I've heard from a couple of our listeners that are, have used DVC resale market too, and are excited about it. And they've been nothing but great to me. So if you're going to buy resale, it's not so bad. The process just takes a little while. You got to be patient while you wait for Disney to decide whether they're going to buy your contract or not. That's the hardest part. So that was a little bit about that. So I'm excited. It's going to be cool. I've always wanted to own an Animal Kingdom. So
yeah, can't wait to see how it all pans out. I'm sure it'll be easy at the end of it all, but yeah, like you said, it's a little stressful.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to find out clarification from Disney about this whole transferring points thing, because I read a policy and I didn't see anything about it. If you own both the contracts, that you can transfer between them and it not be, and in fact that's what he was saying when he emailed me that. So I don't know, we're gonna find this out. It's one of those things where you hear two different things today. So but okay, cool. Well, so we can move on from this for now. We got some more things that we'll talk about in a few here about DVC, but before we do that, we're gonna go on to some park news, because there was some interesting stuff that came out. Did you guys see this video for the Beauty and the Beast ride that's going to be at Tokyo Disney? Because it kind of blew my mind in so many ways. Did you guys see that?
Yeah. It was interesting. I when I saw it the first time, I was like, wow, this the animatronics are great. But, I went back and kind of thought about it for a second. And what's so good about it? Right? So I just think about Frozen, who's... Yeah, animatronics are pretty good, or, Navi, River, whatever, right? Animatronic at the end, pretty good. But, so what's so cool about this? Because there's more of them?
Well, okay, so I think the one thing that struck me as different on this one was they stopped using the projected faces that they used in Frozen. So I know faces. It's not a huge deal, but the face looks like it's properly animated and it looks right, I guess. It doesn't look like...
She looks like a human. She looks like an actual human, yeah.
Well, actually, not even that it looks like a human. It's that it looks like the cartoon. Like, it looks like Belle from the cartoon. Whereas And so, disclaimer, I do like the Little Mermaid ride. It's still one of my favorites. But when you do take a hard look at the Little Mermaid, you can see like it's a different phase of animatronics, right? You can see that this is like that next level of, it moves smoother. It has more of that actual animation feel to it, which is, I think, the thing that stood out to me about it. It wasn't that there was like a major breakthrough. It's just, it's more refinement of it, I guess.
Yeah, and to me, that's not this huge, overwhelming, technology push forward, right? Like, you know what I guess I was expecting is that I like the animatronics, but I feel like the limiting factor here is still our interaction with them, right? I feel like if the ride was a little bit more interactive with these animatronics, I think I'd be a little bit more excited. Again, like I don't mean to rain on the parade, and listen, the animatronics look good, but what's so different about it than being on the Frozen ride? Like, there's just not enough, right? Like, I want to be a little bit more involved, and I think that's where, like, I'm still kind of, like, missing out. We have these great technologies, and, what Star Wars is looking to bring to us seems like it's more of an interaction, and that's why this fell a little flat for me. Like, we have this, Star Wars stuff coming up where it seems like we're going to be a little bit more involved in the ride, and this just looks like, a passing vision sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know why, but that's kind of how I feel about it.
I'll tell you why I thought it was cool. So the one scene that really grabbed me was when, and they don't show her legs or anything, but there's a spot where Bella's walking, and and you just see her top half, and it just looked so natural. Even though you're not seeing her legs. Of
course, but we've seen this with regular robotics. Like, Disney's not doing anything special here.
No, I mean, I just, it felt more smooth than I've seen a robot walk. Because, I mean, you can go to American Adventure and you can see,
it's smoother than you've seen a robot walk at Disney.
Yeah.
You've seen other video of robots walking, right? That,
sure.
we could all go to some websites and see some interesting stuff, right? So that's, I guess, where, and again, that's just me thinking about, like, hey, I want a little bit more. And I think that we're getting it at Star Wars, so why are we not getting it here?
Yeah. Well, here's what the other thing I besides
let me walk through it. Like, let me walk through it. Yeah, let me walk through instead of being on some sort of ride, and I think maybe I'm kind of cool with that then.
See, I was just gonna say the other part of this ride that looked amazing to me were the ride vehicles. I thought,
oh no, because I'm not in the action though. I'm not there. I want to be in the movie, right? You're creating something that's going to allow me to feel like I'm in the movie. But then you stick me on a ride, like you stick me on a cart, like you get me in the darn movie. That's where I want to be, right? Like that's where I want to be.
Well, but I think from at least what they explained was the intent with the ride cars was that like they do the ballroom scene, right? And you're actually dancing around the ballroom, so it's
in a car.
Yeah,
I'm sitting around the ballroom.
Well, you're right. Again, it's a ride, so yeah. But you're getting that. Like, it's not like you're just following a stationary track. You're getting that movement through the scene.
Well, I'm sitting on my butt.
Well, okay.
I can't dance if I'm sitting on my butt.
And how many people would actually go and dance through the scene, I guess?
No, but see, that's the thing is I want to walk through it for some reason. Like, I think, like, I want to see this stuff a little bit closer. I don't know, like, Harry Potter, maybe, like, it will, like, Harry Potter felt like it stuck me a little bit closer, but then, like, the Dementors were kind of whack, right, in terms of general, like, coolness, technology factor. So, I don't know. I don't want to be on this ride with that many people, right? I mean, what are we seeing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people? It's too many. I'm out of the action now. Now, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm just, on a ride. I wanted that immersion. And I felt like I was going to get it. And then I saw the ride vehicles and I'm like, you know what? Maybe if there was smaller ride vehicles, I don't know. Like, again, I've had this whole now, like this whole, Woods of Terror, entertainment factor has been, blown me away. And I felt like I was part of that. And I want to be part of something. And I just feel like this is not me part of something.
I get that. Yeah, and Star Wars, I definitely think will make you feel a lot more like that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm looking at these ride vehicles, and gosh, are we going to be like one ride vehicle by themselves. It looks like there's going to be multiples per room, right? Like I'm looking at the dance scene, right? It looks like there's going to be 50 people in there with me.
Well, but based on
50 annoying people with cell phones taking flashes and video.
Oh, I didn't want to go there, but you're right.
I mean, that's not you're not wrong. But these trackless vehicles though sometimes are. It can be a situation with some of these other rides where you are by yourself at times, and then they all coalesce in one room.
Well, with 9 of my best friends, yeah, exactly.
Well, eventually, yeah, but I mean, it doesn't mean you're all together the whole time. It just means there's one part where you're all together in one room. I guess the part that I liked about the ride vehicles is they were different. You're sitting like a circle around this teacup, and then the teacup itself like kind of tilts around and moves, and then also it's the trackless technology, so you don't know where the car is going to go. It can go anywhere. It's the same kind of technology they're using for Ratatouille and for one of the Star Wars rides. So I don't know. That's what excited me about it.
It's the same sort of stuff that they're using for Ratatouille and the other rides, except that there's not animatronics in them, right? Like they're mostly going to be video / NVIDIA souped up computers, right? That's the problem, right? Like even like Navi River Ride, like it's great to ride through the ride, but I actually would love to stop, get out, see that animatronic at the end. That would be awesome. I don't know. Again, I think it's me asking for too much. I get it, right? There's a lot of things that would go bad with that. You let people walk through it, things would break all the time. I get it. People are just like that. Someone would steal Belle's hand, or like who the heck knows what would happen.
So somebody starts drawing on Belle's face. And,
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I want, and I guess that's the problem. Really, I need a part of Disney that like you have to sign waivers for. Right, and then like, hey, if you touch anything, like, we're gonna fine you, or you might not be let back in, or something along those lines. It does look cool, but you know what? This would be a great ride if there was like a behind the scenes sort of thing. I'd be all for that. I would really be all for that. And again, the animatronics do look good, but do they look better than Navi River Ride at the end? I don't know.
I feel like they're. I don't know if it's better or just different, but because I think
they're probably better, but
yeah,
still,
I would think
not
it's
so much
newest...
better that it's like,
yeah,
like I'm upset because I see Belle and I don't even remember Beauty and Beast, whatever her horse's name is, and I'm just like, man, I would like to be right there, like she's talking to me, like right there, and that would be awesome. And I think that's the thing that's tough. I don't know. Like to get on the horse and ride it, which would happen if you let people walk through it. That would be the problem.
Get on the horse and ride it? That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess, and again, as far as the actual movement goes, like I know, Tom, you were talking about how Belle walks.
Yeah.
I keep equating it back to Frozen Ever After because Belle's movement reminds me actually a lot of the way Olaf moves in Frozen Ever After. Like it's...
Yeah, where it's so smooth and it just feels like it's real.
Yeah, and I think basically what this ride is doing is it's showing that this is the current gen of the animatronic technology. I don't think there needs to be a breakthrough, but again, like I said earlier, that they're getting to that point where they can refine it that it looks and feels like the animation. And again, the problem is that those rides. They're meant to just it's meant to be just a ride through of an already like 20+ year old movie, right? Like they're not. I think that's where I have a hard time with the interactive part is that it's not like something like Star Wars where there is a larger universe to it. It's a very static thing, so I don't necessarily think you need to have an interactive ride for everything, even when it's the movie itself is a static experience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I'm excited about it. I think it's cool. I mean, not that I'm going to Tokyo anytime soon.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, really, when it comes stateside, I think maybe we'll all, care a little bit more. But I think the overall thing is, this brings me a lot of hope for things that are coming. That I think there was a bit of a concern for a while that, everything that was going to come out of Disney was going to be, just video screens, right? Like,
yeah.
like everyone thought that, but seeing these animatronics makes me at least think yeah, there's going to be some cool stuff coming in the future.
Well, and Damon, I think you might have missed this part of the last episode, but we talked a little bit about that Rise of the Empire ride, and they've made it fairly clear that there's not a lot of screens on that ride. It seems like it's a lot of physical. Like I think they've taken the whole like too many screens thing to heart, because they said something like, I think I read 200 animatronic stormtroopers. Like that set that they show in the video is like a real set from the ride. That's not like a screen; it's a physical set. So. Like it seems to like they're trying to avoid just doing screens on everything.
Yeah, and I think that's when I said one of the big problems with Universal is, and I think a lot of that has to do with like limited space in the park. But a lot of their new rides come out and they are just screens, like King Kong or Fast and the Furious, and you kind of like, you have done that. Like just because the movie behind it is changing doesn't mean I need to go and ride that ride again. So I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah, even though there's nothing, necessarily amazing about Beauty and the Beast, like I said, I would take it as a sign of, better things to come, at least.
And I have to say that I can 100% see this coming to Disney World at some point. Like, because they have a whole section already over there. They could easily put this in some backstage areas.
They have a lot on their plate, though.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't mean right now. I mean, like, years and years and years from now.
Years from now, it won't be the same because there'll be,
newer technology.
Yeah, and stuff that I can walk through and touch. And if we write on them, they yell at you and you get banned right there on the spot by the actual animatronic.
Well, Damon, the Haunted Mansion, and I also believe Pirates of the Caribbean were originally supposed to be walkthrough attractions. So
yes, they were.
So there you go.
I mean, and Haunted Mansion would be a great walkthrough, but people would steal stuff. We all know that.
Oh, they absolutely would. By the way,
I keep thinking Westworld.
Yeah, the US worlds. You know that I mean, once we get to that point, Disney will have stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like 100% they will.
We're not going to get to that point.
So
I just don't see it. That's a stretch, Tom. Even with Disney money, that's a stretch.
Yeah, no, for sure. You're probably right about that. So just to go back for a second, really quickly, I just chatted with a wonderful CM over at DVC. To clarify our question about the transferring of the points, because I wanted to get a live answer for this. And she said, if you are the purchaser on both memberships, then you can transfer points between the memberships as many times as you wish per use year. Oh, wow. So look at that. My problems are gone. We're good.
Wow. That's fantastic. And so we got an answer and we got new information. That's amazing.
That's great, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Well, and we had gotten a message from a listener, so I didn't verify that, but and he did send me the rules, and that's what the rules say, but it doesn't have a caveat in the rules that says if you are the purchaser on both of them that you can transfer as many times as you want between them. So that's great, because it didn't say that in the rules, and that's not something that's we've had come up before. So just wanted to follow up with that. But anyway, anything else we want to mention about this Beauty and the Beast thing before we move on to the next thing here? All right. So I decided to start a new segment for this show called Rampant Speculation. So what this
could
is,
go wrong?
What could go wrong? So these are not rumors. This is weird stuff that's going on in Disney World or elsewhere. And we're just going to rampantly speculate on what this is, just using our imaginations and deciding what we think is going to happen with this. I like this idea. I think it's fun. We do it anyway, but now it's an official segment. How about that?
That's true.
So the first one on here, there is a mysterious gazebo being built outside of Tatooine Traders. What is it? No one knows. What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm sorry.
What?
I thought we were going with who cares?
No, what do you mean who cares? There could be lots of cool things they could do with that.
Is it a ride? Because if it was a ride, I'd know about it, right?
I mean, I guess.
Okay, so then who cares? There's my rampant speculation.
Okay.
Don't care.
So first question.
Unless the Jawas in there, then maybe I care a little bit.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it is.
No,
it's going to be right towards
care.
the entrance of Star Wars Land, right?
Still don't care.
Okay,
it's going to be right by the entrance. Sorry.
So Tatooine Traders. Yeah, that's.
There's Jawas in there. Yeah.
Looking at the picture, that's kind of in between Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land, right?
Okay. I think it's more towards like isn't it like Muppets Courtyard area kind of?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get.
It's at the exit of Star Tours. It's the exit of Star Tours.
Okay, you're gonna piece it together from there.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying to Trevor because he's trying to find. Because I guess you have a theory then, depending on where it is.
Well, okay, so if that's where Star Tours is,
yep,
then see, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
Why?
It really doesn't.
Why doesn't it make sense though?
Because there's nothing else there that they could latch onto. Like it almost seems to me like it would just end up being a quick service, because if they're just building a gazebo, like what they need space for, backstage and stuff like that. Like it doesn't seem like it's something big enough that it could be a substantial attraction.
But what about the area that the Star Wars launch bay?
But that's on the other side, though.
Yeah, I'm asking you, what's going to happen to that? Why isn't this just that?
Well, it's pretty small. It looks like a food stand
launch
size.
bay.
Yeah,
Does
but
it though?
Launch bay is not small.
Well, I mean, yeah, launch bay is pretty large.
I'm just saying, does this look that small? I mean, we're seeing a model of it, right? Like,
well, we're seeing an actual picture of the construction. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it could be. I think it could be a launch bay. I'm going rampant speculation. It's the new launch bay. How's that? I don't care, but that's my speculation. Because, I mean, it could be. They have the tents over there, right, in whatever land that has the character meet and greets. I mean, how many meet and greets do I need for Star Wars if they're switching them out all the time?
Okay, hold on. I got it. Just when you were talking about it. So what they're going to do is they're going to pull out the two meet and greets that are in launch bay. So Chewie and Kylo Ren. Okay. Those are going to go over with the rest of Star Wars. So then all of your Star Wars is together. Launch bay is going to go away. I think launch bay, because it's on the other side of Toy Story, you're going to get another Pixar type thing over there. I'm betting because
bring back the drawing, but go ahead.
Yeah. So there's the animation thing over there. It's Pixar. There is the Lightning McQueen thing coming over by Rock and Roller Coaster, which is again on that same side of the park. I'm betting that the launch bay is going to turn into a Pixar or it might be a whole Pixar thing, or they might focus on a particular franchise, so either Monsters Inc. or Cars or something like that.
Or whatever movie's out at the time, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I
think it's going to be. I think launch bay. I agree with you. I think launch bay is going to hold the Pixar characters because Lightning McQueen was over by the Toy Story ride.
Well, let's not forget though, Lightning McQueen is getting his own show though too. That's opening early next year too.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Is that I think they're going to turn that whole side of the park into, let's call it new Pixar Pier, because we have Pixar Pier in California Adventure.
Okay,
this is now new Pixar Pier.
You're rampantly speculating on something else we're not even talking about.
That's okay.
But that's why this is being built, is that they need a way to shuffle out the remnants of the Star Wars stuff and get it all back into a tidy little box. Yeah,
this is the new launch bay. I agree. See, we're thinking together, Trevor. We get it.
Yeah. But I don't think we're gonna get all of launch bay. I think some of the things are gonna disappear in there, which is a little sad because there's a lot of cool little like museum type stuff. But I think the majority of that is gonna disappear.
I'm okay with that.
It definitely has to be Star Wars oriented though, right? It's right outside of Tatooine Traders. It's right by look at the entrance. I mean, it's right there. It can't not be Star Wars related.
I mean, well, it could be anything that they want to do, but
I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this. There's little awnings there,
That's the only thing that's not Star Wars-y I don't like.
It's the awnings, right? I don't know. It's so hard to know. Or maybe...
Is it really...
I'm confused by this. I don't know what the heck this thing is. It's so confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's so weird, but...
I'm still disappointed though. I was really hoping at some point they were going to make the exit, because they started redoing the exit for Star Tours, like that gift shop you go through, and I was really hoping when they redid it they were going to build some sort of tunnel or hallway that went directly into Star Wars land, because I just think the idea of getting on Star Tours and then getting off of it and now you're in a new land is akin to the train at Harry Potter. Like you could do that and it would be cool.
That. But you know what the problem is? You know what sort of backup you would have then at Star Tours.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't make it the only entrance. I would just make it an option, I guess. You know?
Yeah.
I could see that.
The only danger of that, though, is that, if that area of the park reaches capacity, then
what do you do then?
yeah, they're telling people, no, you can't get on the ride anymore, right? But
switch it back to they have two options. They have a go to Star Wars Land option, and then the old option where you go on a million different random missions.
Yeah, actually, because haven't they done that already? Because they've split it up into two different experiences, right? There's the one that ends on Batuu, which is where Galaxy's Edge is, and then the other like classic Star Wars, like classic Star Wars, whatever.
Is that still up? Are they still doing it that way? I don't. I missed this year, so I'm out on this.
See, I haven't paid a lot of attention to that either, but I get the feeling you're right. Maybe they'll have it that there's the A and the B side, and if Star Wars Land is at capacity, then you can't get on the B side because, again, you're right. That kind of like Harry Potter's. You get on Star Tours, you go through it, you land on Batuu, you get off, you're in Batuu.
Right?
Oh my gosh!
And Harry Potter does reach capacity, and they do shut that area down.
They just shut the whole train down.
They shut down the area. I don't know about the train though. I guess they have to if that's the case, right? Or no, they actually when you get off the train though, you can go the other way, and not actually go into the land. I think, can't you? I have a feeling like you can.
They have like an exit back out that you can just walk back.
I have this weird feeling, but again, I'm not 100% sure. But I want to talk about this next thing. Are we done with this?
Right. Yeah. I think we're done with this. So we'll find out what this is, I'm sure, soon enough.
Yes. Stay tuned for that in about 8 months. We'll see what it is.
So if you look at pictures of the Riviera, and this is on DVCnews.com, who is related to DVC Info in a way, and they're friends that we had Russell on one time from there. But if you go on the site and you look at the overhead picture of Riviera, there is a very large circular area that's almost like, what would you call it? Like an outside part that's almost like a joint between two of the halls.
Yeah, we're talking about the whole thing from first floor to top, or are we just talking about that thing on the top?
No, it's like the whole thing.
All right, we're talking. You see what I'm saying? Because the top looks a little weirder. But
it does look a little weirder. Yeah,
we're talking about the whole thing.
Yeah, we're talking about the whole thing. Like,
Man,
what is that?
I'll tell you something. You got a lot of people talking about this. It's interesting. So, is it just really nice rooms?
Maybe.
Like 3-bedroom something.
Grand villas?
It almost seems too big for that, though. Unless it's 2 of them or 3 of them.
Yeah, that's
what I was thinking.
Space.
And the thing is, would you really... we know that they're all going to, hey, everyone loves the studios. Let's make more studios, blah, 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 blah. So would they do that? Because that's a lot, right? That's a lot of them. Okay, so there's that.
That's true.
And here's the other interesting thing. Is this going to be set up as a conference center and we just don't know yet?
You mean like conference rooms in that circular area?
Well, what's the one that I was just at? Boardwalk.
Yeah.
Right, don't they have that whole conference area?
Do they have a conference area with Boardwalk?
Wait, where was I? I was just at Boardwalk. Yeah, Boardwalk has the whole area that's over to the right. That is all the conference area, isn't it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like I'm imagining it now because I felt like you would have been like, yeah, exactly, Damon. And now that you didn't, I feel like I'm imagining it. But I feel like I walked by it.
Grand Californian, so...
Yeah. Well,
it's got to be because I remember walking by it way too many times.
Maybe.
And I was like, oh, man, I got to walk by this again? Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So in this site speculates that maybe it's
tempered by world-class conference facilities. Yeah, it's got...
Okay.
Yeah, so the Boardwalk Conference Center. That's what I feel like it is.
Well, they're saying on this site that there are rumors that are suggesting the Riviera is going to introduce a, quote, economy studio option with a size and setup that's kind of like a moderate hotel. So they're thinking that this circular area might be like kind of like wedge-shaped, like... Did you say the ghetto?
Yeah, the Disney ghetto.
The Disney ghetto.
Pretty much.
I mean, moderate rooms are nice.
What the heck is an economy studio?
I guess a smaller studio, maybe without the kitchenette.
No kitchenette.
If there's no kitchenette, then why am I there?
Yeah. It's a fair question.
AKA the ghetto.
At that point, all you're getting is a discount room. There's no...
Yeah.
Well, you're getting a free room. In theory, right? All right, let me go back to the psyche of DVC members, right? So everyone just, not everyone, a lot of people just, it's a free room, right? Because even when I talk to people that don't know DVC, right, you pretty much say, I pay my money, then I get a free room until I'm 84, and then everyone always asks, well, do you have to pay per year? I said, yes, I pay due. So, yeah, you're right, it's not really free. It pays me $700, and I get a room for the week, or whatever the case.
I get a room that would have cost me $5,000, and I paid $700.
But why would I want no kitchenette? There's no point. I mean, I get it. Well, it's the ghetto. Let it be that, and it will be the ghetto. In my head, what it should be is an arcade. We're at the Riviera with the casino.
Don't start with an arcade.
It should be the new Disney Quest Riviera arcade experience.
You did it.
That's like a casino with no money, and that would be the best thing ever.
That'd be kind of cool.
Sitting down playing Mickey Mouse Baccarat.
So we all
sign me up.
We all have to stop the episode right here because I'm going to have to do an hour-long rant about Disney Quest. So
no, we can do a special episode on that. But
we could do that. Could be the next. What were those things called that we did two of?
Oh, the waitlist.
Yeah. Maybe we should waitlist Disney Quest because man,
I love Disney Quest. Man,
that was one of my favorite places to go.
The raft ride was the coolest thing.
We're gonna do more waitlists when we have more time to do more waitlists. So we have been a little strapped for time the past a couple months, and I'm sure you all understand the holidays and all the stuff.
I'm
that's going on. Yeah, Damon's packing up a house. So, but before I just want to point out though that these rooms face Epcot. That makes me think it's not Economy Studios, that it has to be like a Grand Villa.
Or if it's a conference center, you sell.
I see conference center. I think
conferences
that might
with
be
fireworks.
I mean, literally, if you look at the picture, it directly faces.
There's just too many of them, though.
Yeah,
that's the problem, right? Like, so what are we talking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like a bunch of floors.
Yeah.
If it was like, so what do you do? So it can't all be one thing if it's not rooms. If it's rooms, okay, that's a lot of meeting rooms. Unless they close down the boardwalk one.
I mean, maybe, but I don't see them doing that with this. At first, I thought maybe it's just like a really fancy like elevator section. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe the thing is, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it could be nothing. More rooms.
Yeah, it could be nothing.
And they're just shaped differently. Like when you go on a Disney cruise, my friend always gets those back rooms that have no veranda but have the double porthole, and they're a little bit larger single family rooms, right? And there's not too many of them, but it's kind of like the Animal Kingdom rooms as well, right? Like those sort of things.
Like the Bowser ones?
Curve.
Yeah, I guess it could be. I mean,
I'm still leaning towards
the ghetto.
No, I'm saying there's probably 2-3 bedrooms per floor, and I'm betting that the top floor is the new Top of the World lounge, whatever they like, the equivalent of Top of the World at Bay Lake.
And the thing is, if you're going along with the theme of the Riviera, right, there's a high-end feeling.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you can capture that. Listen, where are all the NFL players and movie stars going to go? Maybe this is where they go now, right? Maybe that this is really, really nice rooms.
The VIP housing.
Could be VIP, could be all concierge level too. The whole thing could be concierge, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah,
think about it. You could just make that concierge because
get some butler service up in there.
Well, you think about it, right? All the other places have those concierge levels, right? So
they do, yeah.
Why not just make that area that? But the thing is, then you're eliminating. I mean, I guess you could kind of make a walkway through in the front, and then to get in that area, you need a special key card. I don't know. This will be one I'll be interested in because that's where I want to be. That is mine. That's again, I might not even be able to buy resale because I might have to get Riviera.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this is going to turn out to be. I saw this and I was like, I'm
going to contradict myself now and say that like I want to stay there. Now I don't need to stay there more than once, but like this would be one that I try to stay there. Now listen, if I didn't get it, it wouldn't be the worst, but I would definitely try.
Interesting. Well, I again, if you want to check this out, it's on dvcnews.com. You can see a picture of this. I think it's a really interesting thing to speculate on. I think this has been a really great first segment of Rampant Speculation. We do this anyway. It's a little more structured this time, I guess. But I'm interested to see what this is going to be. We'll have to wait. We should know fairly soon, though. I mean, they're going to start this thing's opening, less than a year now. So we're going to know pretty quickly.
So at about episode, we want to say 60-ish, we should tell people to come back and check out episode 45, see how we did.
Would it be 60? I don't know, man. We're getting close to 50. We're going to have to do something cool for 50.
Yeah. I can't believe we've gotten this far. But
50, that's not too far away, though.
No, 50's 10 weeks from now, I guess.
Wait, that puts us in January in the new year?
Oh yeah. 50 will be probably February maybe.
Well, for 100 we got to be at the park.
Well, yeah, that's But for 50, I mean, we should at least do a giveaway.
50 is right around when I'm on my trip, so
we might have to delay 50 just to have
it'll be something special. So it might be when Trevor comes back 50.
There you go. All right, well, let's do our anything else you guys want to mention about this before we move on?
No, but what do we got next? Oh, we got friends.
Yes, our friends at DVC Resale Market. So we talk about them a lot on the show. We love them over there. They just helped me with my contract. So, we love that they sponsor the show. They're super nice over there. We've had them on the show before. In fact, we got to get them back on the show. That's got to be something we do soon here. Because, because so many questions. They probably could have answered that point transfer question.
Of course they could have. And they have to talk me out of Riviera, right? Isn't that what they have to do next time?
I don't know, man. There's Copper Creek resale contracts out there sometimes. So, But so DVC Resale Market is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 11 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 2 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you are thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you are thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days, and over 2,400 contracts were sold in 2017 alone. So if you want to visit them, go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, which is 1-844-382-7767. Let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Let them know that you heard about them from our show, and they like to hear that, and we like to hear back from them that our listeners are coming to them. So again, that's dvcresalemarket.com or 1-844-DVC-PROS, and download their app. Download their app so you can just see all the crazy stuff that they have on there and get alerts.
And tempt yourself.
All right, so the guys are now going to talk about boring stuff that I don't care about. So I'm going to leave again to go pack. But before I do that, I have to at least address Adam. And they'll talk about Adam later. He had a listener question, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or it wasn't even a question. It was, I guess he did have some questions, right?
He did have some questions, yeah. He
man.
wants to know where to get good Italian.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like I have to answer his question. So I'm going to answer his questions, and then maybe then I'll go. How's that sound?
Okay, that sounds
good. And then you guys can talk. So
I like it. Go.
Do you want to read it or just shoot?
You can read it if you want to.
Sure. I'll take a crack at it. So Adam sends us an email, and the first thing is you have to read the subject because it says, "I can't stop listening to your show." Well, I mean, that's nice. We appreciate that. It's always nice to hear. All right. Just wanted to tell you how much I enjoy your show. I recently bought 125 points at Animal Kingdom through DVC Resale. Cha-ching. Thanks to the recommendation. And has been binging our show for the last couple of weeks. Keep up the great work. 3 questions, opinions I'd be curious to hear. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of writing this guy does.
Yeah, I was going to try to pare it down, but I felt like it was all important for the conversation.
I was going to paraphrase, but now he's going to make me read.
Okay,
paraphrase.
All right.
No, I got it.
Paraphrase.
Nope. One very glaring detail in the Disney parks that drives me crazy is the Welcome to Your Future feature in Spaceship Earth. I'm curious if the silhouette feature that places your face in the characters in the video has ever worked properly, and if so, why they've allowed the now malfunctioning feature to play year after year. For me, I've never seen it work. They're always insanely complex puzzle pieces with random holes, somewhat framed around your face, drives me crazy. Okay, blah, blah, blah. When you exit the ride, most of the other readers have the same problem. Have you noticed this as well? I don't even know what you're talking about. So I guess obviously I don't care that much, and I've ridden this ride a million times. Like, no, I don't care. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm going to read them all and answer them all and then get off, and then you can talk to these guys. All right. How do you feel about the design of reflections? Oh my! I can't even read this one. I don't even care. Sorry, just skipping over that one.
You said you liked reflections. I thought.
What is that's
the River Country Resort.
The rehab
reflections.
Resort.
I thought we were. It's funny. I thought for some reason we were talking about some silly, midnight show or fireworks or something stupid. So all right.
That does sound. You know what? That does sound like a nighttime show at Disney.
It does. It caught me off guard because you're absolutely right. I feel bad about this because I did like reflections. All right. So how do you feel about design of reflections? I thought we talked about this. You know what, Adam? We're not even going to answer that. Listen to the last episode. We talked about it already. I get you're only on episode. What did he say?
I think he said he was on episode 14, so he's got a while.
Keep listening, man. Keep listening. Talked about that one already. But he does make mention he'd like to see them build a giant Winchester Mystery House style resort inspired by the Haunted Mansion. Man, that sounded cool.
Well,
I mean, it's not river country haunted stuff cool, but it's like that next level down cool.
I did mention to him we had a haunted river country hotel episode that he had to check out.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it sounds cool though, so I give him props for that. Thumbs up for thinking along the same lines as I would. I appreciate that. All right, this one's controversial. Song of the South. I'm just going to skip that.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, you can skip that. You skip to the end.
I mean, I just wouldn't even talk about it because there's no way to win. It's like having a conversation about politics. I'm just not going to do it.
Well, the question was, what would you think about changing it to Moana?
No.
See, and it's funny. I think I might say yes to that. But crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I know it's your answer, but sorry, my knee jerk is just like
it's not our turn yet, Trevor.
It's not your turn. All right. One last one, Damon. I moved to Weehawken, New Jersey. I don't know how to feel about that. I need some Italian restaurant recommendations. So I wasn't all that close to Weehawken. I mean, I guess I was in reality to like where Tom lived and says he was from New Jersey. That's really not New Jersey.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah. But that all being said, my favorite Italian restaurant is in Florham Park, and it's called Nona's. That's my favorite. It beats everywhere I've ever been for. But what's interesting is while they have very good pizza, there's a place called Chatham Pizza, which is in Chatham, amazingly enough, New Jersey, that has the best pizza that I've ever eaten. So those would be my two recommendations, but they're a little far from you. Sorry, I don't know anything really closer to you, but I actually don't get to Weehawken all that much. But if you're in that area, which, Florham Park is pretty hustle bustle, by, all the other towns there, I think that you would rather enjoy eating there. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. If any New Jerseyans from that area are listening, help our buddy out here. Let us know where he should go get some Italian. We'll let him know.
I mean, I think you could almost, 80% of the places you're going to eat at are better Italian than anywhere else you've ever eaten anyway. Even like the places that I would say are, man, I would love if they came down here to North Carolina. I'll tell you that much. I would love it. I'm not like Tom. I don't go to South Carolina for Italian, right? Like I like to have it in New Jersey. Tom will tell you all about his famous Hilton Head thing. Actually, but I've never been there, so I can't really knock it. Because I did make fun of you a little bit for the Disney Italian, and it was pretty good.
It's good, right? Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't New Jersey good.
Well,
but
what good. Is except for New Jersey? Yeah. So it's,
exactly.
You can get a $2 slice of pizza in New York that's better than any other piece of pizza you can have anywhere else in the world. So,
and it's funny. I had this. Now I'm going to tangent real quick because we're talking about food. But I like New Jersey pizza better than New York, and it is different for people that are not from that area.
That's true.
It's very difficult to understand the difference. But I had a guy down here that was from Buffalo. Now I'm talking about North Carolina. He's from Buffalo, and he came down. And it's probably my favorite pizza that I've had in North Carolina. And it was funny. He said to me, as we were talking, he goes, "Oh, where are you guys from? New York or New Jersey?" Because it was, a giveaway that I was from one of them, right? So, and he said, "Oh, well, we cook the pizza, different length of time depending on what state you're in." And I'll just leave you guys with that little tidbit.
That's interesting.
Yes, it is.
That's
have
really
fun.
interesting.
And again, everyone that wants to tune out, that's okay. Listen, our stats just tell us if you've downloaded it. They don't tell us that you stopped listening to Tom and Trevor. That's okay, right? They're never going to know. It's all right. I said, hopefully as I continue to, like I said, pack up and have a little bit more time. But I will be moving to my parents' house for 2 months. 2 months? Yeah, about 2 months. So it may even get worse.
Great.
I don't know. But the other thing is that we didn't even mention, I got to meet Tom last weekend.
Yeah, we did. We had dinner.
Yes. And I will say that was a very good barbecue place. It may have moved up to number 1.
Wow. See, I told you. It was a great barbecue place.
It really was. And I'll tell you the truth. I was a little I was like, I don't know. There's some really, really good barbecue places that I've eaten at, but that was probably the best. It was really, really good.
I'm glad you enjoyed
the prices were great, yeah, and it was fun to actually meet Tom for the first time again. As if people don't know, we actually don't know each other.
Yeah,
that was the first time we've actually met,
and we both have not met Trevor yet. So
well, hopefully that'll happen in the next year. But we'll
episode 100. Yeah, isn't that what we said? Episode 100. Yeah. Actually, episode 100 though. So 50 away is still that's a long time away.
We're still a while.
Yeah.
Away
that's 2 years away, right?
Yeah, it's still.
Oh, that's too long.
It's a while away.
That's too long.
Unless we start doing a weekly show, then it's pretty far away.
Yeah, and then we'd all be mad at each other.
Yeah.
Damn it, I have to see them again. Just did a show with them already. I'll talk to those guys again.
So true.
So true. Well,
but if anybody's in Charlotte, North Carolina, please check out Midwood Smokehouse, one of the best barbecue places around. So,
and I will give it the 2 thumbs up. I would tend to agree. And I love Bennett's by Dollywood, which was my favorite up until then. So this one actually trumped it.
Nice.
Yes. All right. Well, have a good one, and I will see everyone in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Damon.
Bye, Damon.
And I'm actually going to leave my mic on this time. Yes. I'm just going to mute.
Yeah, please do that.
I don't want that problem again.
Yeah, we don't want to run into a situation.
Our listeners would be mad at me if I didn't do that.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
So let me explain why I did it last time. So what happened is that I muted these guys, but they're so loud even with headphones on. I put my headphones off my head under my desk. And they were still so loud, and I was trying to do something on my computer. I tried to kick them under my desk, and it still didn't work. So then I just unplugged them, and then it came through my speakers, and then I just got mad and closed down my window, and that was the end of it.
And then we lost your whole recording.
And I had no space on my hard drive, which was probably not the smartest thing as well. So all of that led to us being late. So I have to put all of the blame on myself. So this time I'm just going to mute.
I feel like our last episode was, I don't know why, I just loved the mess of it, and I just think it was one of our all-time best ones. So
maybe it worked out for the best.
I don't know. I just think I love a good mess on this show sometimes. So we can't be buttoned up all the time, guys. We got to have some fun.
Honest.
Yeah.
We are far from buttoned up ever. Let's put it that way.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah, okay.
All right,
Damon.
fellas. All right, bye-bye.
All right, so now Damon's gone.
Back to our regularly scheduled program, like we had one, but
yeah. All right, so do we want to continue answering this listener question, and then we'll go back to our other stuff since we're already talking about it?
Yeah, let's go through this, and then we'll go back. So.
All right, so let's start the first one here. I know what he's talking about with Spaceship Earth.
Me too.
Sure, yeah. So I have never found it. I kind of find it hilarious that it's all jacked up. Like, I think it makes it funnier. And I also, my wife and I have gotten into a habit of making the funniest face that we can possibly make on that, like, just for fun. Even one time, I think I had like an Olaf mask for some reason. It was just like a little paper mask, and I put that over my face. So Olaf was, floating through the ocean and, flying through space and such. But it doesn't bother me that much. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah. And I guess, so for me, it was, and again, for anyone that's listened to the older episodes, so the way my Disney World experience has gone is that we went, it was like 11 years ago. So I went on Spaceship Earth before they had that. Like that, it was just, you just sat in the ride. They didn't have the little screens or anything.
Gotcha.
And then I came back, with my son when he was in the last couple of years. And, I got to see it, and I don't think I've ever seen it when it's worked properly. So, because there was such a large gap in between. So yeah, because of that, it kind of the same thing is, I find it, it's amusing. It's funny how, it kind of messes up, and yeah, same thing, we try to do like the dumbest faces we can because it makes it more entertaining. But I think it also speaks to the fact that, like I said, when I went on it, this is clearly something that was kind of bolted on after the fact. And I think it speaks to, they tried to do something that, or they tried to retrofit it, and, it's not working right. And it doesn't surprise me. And so I guess I give it a pass because of that. Yeah. So
I assume they'll fix it when they overhaul that thing. If those rumors end up being true, they'll do something new with it. Technology's better now. So I'm sure they could make it better.
Oh yeah. It's like I said, I don't. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the flaws make it more perfect. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. So to move on to his reflections question, I've seen a couple people say this, that they feel like the concept art for reflections kind of looks like a dorm. Like, it looks like a dorm room, like, or a door. Yeah, and I get that. And I've also heard a lot of people complaining that the new DVC resorts and the new Disney resorts in general are not overly themed and more like just looking like really luxury resorts. And that was kind of his point here, is he feels like they're moving away from the unique theming of these hotels and just kind of making luxury hotels instead. And I guess I had emailed him back about this, and for every Animal Kingdom and Wilderness Lodge you also have a beach and yacht club and a Grand Floridian. That was kind of my point, right? So like beach and yacht, yes, they're themed, and Grand Floridian, yes, they're themed, but they're more standard hotel-y to me, right?
They're toned down.
Yeah. They're more like they're standard. They have an overall theme to them, but it's not like an Animal Kingdom where they're like super themed, or like a Wilderness Lodge where they're super themed. And so I don't necessarily feel like they're moving away from that. Because it's hard for me to say, okay, well, they're not building unique hotels anymore when they're building the Star Wars hotel, which is possibly the most unique hotel that's ever been built. Right. So I don't know. I don't know what you think about it, but that was kind of my feeling about it.
Yeah, I guess the way I look at it is, as far as these two hotels go, is one, the outside theming doesn't, or I guess watching them build it, or looking at concept art, one, it doesn't always speak to what it'll actually be. So
that's very true.
So I think we have to kind of withhold our judgment a little bit, because how it looks at the end, everyone may be very impressed by it. But I also think that with the way that so talking specifically about the Riviera and Reflections, is they're not, I think they're kind of changing their stance in that, like, if you look at, you got that interesting juxtaposition of, the contemporary Poly and Grand Floridian on Seven Seas Lake, and it creates a very they're very different from each other, right?
Yep.
But when you look at where Reflections is, so you've got Copper Creek and Boulder Ridge, Wilderness Lodge, and then Reflections, that's making like a community of hotels. So that's, I think that the stance might be changing, that they realize, one, you can't keep building unique hotels everywhere because you're going to run out of themes. Like you can only...
Totally true.
you can only do so many unique things, right? Unless you're going to get into some really weird spaces that I don't think Disney wants to go into. You can only do so many things, and I think like I said, with seeing Reflections and everything, because it's all in that same area, it seems to me like they're building a bunch of different hotels that they all fit that theme, so they're all themed to that same wilderness outdoor kind of thing, but they vary slightly, but they're keeping them all grouped together. Same thing with the Riviera, is that you've got Caribbean beach there, you've got Riviera, although I know it's supposed to be like Mediterranean and Caribbean, and they don't necessarily fit together, but that actually does kind of fit with more of like the Epcot kind of thing, where it's international, right? So
good call.
So I feel like they're positioning hotels in areas, right? Like, so like this area will be for these different hotels that all fit a theme, right? So I don't expect them to build new and very different themes all the time. But I'm also not discounting these either as being, another like a Super 8 motel or anything. Like, it's
I agree with that. That was actually one of the things I said to him too, is, there's only so many things you can theme stuff as, right? And I don't know what else you would put in the spot. I know we've been joking around about Haunted River Country forever, but like, it makes sense to make it wilderness themed because you feel like you're in the wilderness. I don't know what else you could do there with it.
Do you know what the art and everything honestly reminds me of the more that I look at it? This is the funny thing for me. So for those that know, I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am right on the edge of the Rockies. So I have, an hour's drive away, I can be in the mountains. And because of that, I have access to all of like there's a little town called Canmore, which they have all of these like amazing hotels, and they all look like Wilderness Lodge. Like they're like lots of wood, lots of stone,
log cabin type.
Yeah. These big cabins, and they're everywhere. Like these are the I don't want to say the standard hotels, because some of them are like really nice and they're not necessarily cheap, but there's literally like an entire street of these things where I live. So for me, you know, when I look at Wilderness Lodge and all that, I kind of go, you know, it's not exotic. It's not. It doesn't seem, you know. I don't want special is not the word. It doesn't seem, you know.
I get it.
Yeah,
it's the same reason why you probably wouldn't go to dinner at the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot.
Yeah, I honestly I have no desire to, because
exactly
I can go to a steakhouse here. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the exact same reason why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, so I guess for that is, yeah, like looking at Reflections is, you know, initially I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, it's kind of boring, but it does still fit. It does fit that theme, and it's just that I take it for granted. So that does skew my perception of it. And I think that's something we have to keep in mind, is that, you know, as these different hotels come up, is that, you know, some of them will definitely look more exotic to us because they're from an area that we're not used to, or they're fitting a theme that we're not used to seeing. But then other ones that do fit a theme that we're used to seeing are, you know, kind of boring. I'll say the same thing too. You know, Frontierland, I actually, fun story, the first time I took my son to Disneyland, we were in Frontierland, and there was a guy playing, he was playing a fiddle, like he was one of the cast members. And so we got talking with him, and it actually turned out that he was from Alberta. And so to us, it was like he was just like, oh yeah, you know, this is like this is normal. Like the Frontierland is kind of normal to us, because it is kind of like, I mean, not like old Wild West, but we do see that kind of stuff, like cowboys and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess just some food for thought when it comes to, you know, the design, is that I don't think it's bad. It's just, you know, it may not be what you're expecting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I said this the last time we talked about it. I want to wait and see. Mm-hmm. You know, and see what it's going to look like. Now, he did throw a thing in here, you know, maybe do a throwback to some of the original unrealized resort concepts, which, and you know, I would encourage you to do some research about this. There were some, there was an Asian inspired resort that was planned to be built.
Where the Contemporary was, I think, actually.
Was it where the Contemporary was? I thought it was where Poly was. But
you're right. I might have those backwards, but
yeah, I thought it was where Poly was, but I could be wrong. But so, you know, there's some concepts that they had out there that never got built, and of course, there's a lot of different ones that they come out with things all the time and don't build them. So, you know, there's some different things they can do there around countries, but I would think if they were going to do that, maybe they do that around Epcot, because I feel like it would make sense around Epcot, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
and maybe Riviera is the start of that, right?
Yeah,
like, you know, kind of, you know, take World Showcase and basically extend it out into hotels on the back of each, or like kind of around what would be the lagoon. So
yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Now, so the last thing he had on here was talking about how perfect would the physical ride structure of Splash Mountain work as a reimagined Moana ride. Think about it: boats, caves, giant mountains surrounded by water. I don't think he's wrong, but I think that the Disney fans would come out with their torches and pitchforks if they ever tried to do this. You know?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, right? Because okay, so first of all, let's talk about, you know, Moana as a ride, right? Yeah, you know, there's, you know, they can do the stuff with, you know, you visit Tamatoa, you go to what is the name of the island that they're trying to get the rock back to?
Tafiti? Yeah, Tafiti.
Yeah. You know, yeah. So yeah, they can do all of that, and yeah, it does logically make sense. And again, as a log ride, although they would have to do something other than the log, because then it doesn't.
It have to be a raft.
Yeah,
it would have to be like a raft. Yeah,
with a little sail and everything. And and so yeah, I don't discount that. I think, you know, kind of the same, you know, people were upset about Maelstrom going away, and then it turned out that Frozen Ever After is a better ride. And I've ridden both, and Frozen Ever After is a better ride. So
true, but Maelstrom was never as beloved as Splash Mountain is.
Yeah, and so here's where we get into the weird part of Splash Mountain. So for those that don't know, Splash Mountain was opened up back in the early 90s. and which is like way long after Song of the South came out. And
Yep.
for some reason, Disney decided at the time that they were going to take that particular IP and turn it into a ride. And
despite the fact that they completely buried the movie, you can't even buy it.
yeah, and so they realized that I guess they had all these characters there in the ride, just the animated characters. Don't touch any of the live action stuff. Just
Yeah, stay away from that.
yeah, but yeah, so they took the animated characters and they turned them into a ride. And honestly, I remember this. I remember being like I went there and I went to Disneyland in like '92, and I remember being super excited because there was a whole bunch of hype around Splash Mountain, and it like the ride itself is good. Like the storytelling in it is good. They managed to get it far enough away from the movie that I know everyone likes throwing it back to the movie, because otherwise it's like you wouldn't know who the heck Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and everything are.
Yeah.
But I think the ride still stands on its own. So I don't feel that it needs to be removed. I don't either. Yeah, like I said, for me, it holds enough memories and it holds enough nostalgia. And I know I get on people for getting nostalgic as well, but but I feel that it's not its time yet.
Well, and I want to qualify that Adam is not suggesting that they get rid of it. He's more just he's imagineering. He's thinking to himself, how cool would it be to have that as a ride that they were to redo. So he also asked me a question. He asked what ride would we take and reimagine? And I said that is a topic for a future wait list. So I wasn't going to answer that. So
I thought, or no, what did we do on, I can't remember what we did on the other wait lists.
We did something similar, but not like, let's close this ride and open this ride.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I guess.
Although Damon's was close this ride and open this ride. But
yeah, regardless.
So, so I think these were good questions. I thought they were interesting. Oh, and by the way, for those that don't know, the reason Splash Mountain is called Splash Mountain is because at the time Eisner was the CEO of the company, and the Tom Hanks movie Splash was coming out, and he was trying to cross-promote Splash by naming the ride Splash Mountain. That is true. Look it up. Mm-hmm. It's maybe the dumbest thing ever, but it's still kind of funny and interesting.
Yeah, I can't even imagine if they had called it like.
I think it was supposed to be Zippity. I think it was supposed to be Zippity something.
Okay.
Gosh. Yeah, it was supposed to be like Zippity Falls or something. Something like that. I can't remember the full name, but yeah. The fun fact: Splash.
Also, I guess another aside to that is people talking about Splash Mountain and everything. And I guess if you go to Disney World, you don't necessarily think about this because the Winnie the Pooh ride has replaced Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, it has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. And
no.
And if you go to Disneyland, it's still there. The ride is still functioning, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Like he goes to hell and stuff, and you're like,
yeah, there's all sorts of weird stuff in that ride.
Yeah, and so I guess for people say, well, Splash Mountain, Song in the South. It's like it doesn't have to have anything to actually do with the movie, even though it's using the character.
They just use the characters because the characters were solid.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk. We could talk about this really briefly. And because we've talked about this before, but this is like a minute conversation, I feel like. Did you see the new concept art for Artist Point, the Storybook Dining that's coming out?
I did, and I actually like it more than I thought I would.
I do too, and for those that haven't looked at it, the information's out there, check it out. But basically, it looks like they're kind of making it like you're in the woods. They're kind of like putting almost like they're making like the beams that are exposed into like trees, and then having like the lights be like lanterns hanging from them. It's pretty cool looking.
It's Snow White. I mean, because this is you meet Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so you're in the forest with Snow White, right? Like,
yeah. And I know a lot of people were upset about this, but I've eaten at Artist Point a couple times. I've never seen that restaurant full ever, and you could get a reservation there anytime you wanted, right? But now that they made this change, I've been seeing people post online that they can't get a reservation for it now. It's because it's character dining. It's turned into, into all the other things that are character dining.
And to bring this back to Adam's point about theming, I do see the point about, unique themes do stand out more than plain themes. That this applies to both hotels and to restaurants, I think, because even for myself, I knew what Artist's Point was. It was not on my radar at all. And saying, like, my wife and myself were both like, I don't like, we won't go there. But then as soon as we saw some of this stuff come out, now my wife's going, maybe we should think about eating there next year. And it's like,
where did that come from?
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I mean, the theming does matter, but it doesn't always have to be, over the top. But I guess there is a time and a place for it, right? And this is, this restaurant is a time and a place for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, who can blame Disney for taking a restaurant that was always empty and making it into something that's not? I mean, they have to do that. So,
oh yeah, totally.
I mean, it makes total business sense. And I know a lot of people are sad about a nice, romantic, quiet restaurant going away, but there are still plenty of those around Disney that you can go to. So, and this kind of looks like it's still going to be a pretty intimate type of environment where, it's not going to be it's not going to be Whispering Canyon,
Or I was going to say it's not going to be what's the one in the Contemporary, Chef Mickey's?
It's not going to be Chef Mickey's. Yeah, no. Yeah. This is going to be, I feel like, a little more intimate and I mean, if you look at the menu looks really good. Mm-hmm. So they did some pictures of food in there. It looked good.
And so, I guess, so here's the flip side of, the people saying, I can't get reservations there now. And, that, they liked when it was quiet is, there's been a lot of people that have been, concerned because they can't get reservations at other places. So the flip side of this is that, because now all of the focus is on Artist's Point, some of the other places you're going to find that, availability for them is a little more reasonable.
There you go.
So maybe, and I think I said this before is, I'm kind of the person that, I'm always thinking like everybody likes to go to the newest and latest thing. And I like to go where that's not happening.
just avoid that area as much as you can. Where there's things happen, just avoid that.
Yeah, and that's because this is exactly is. The quiet places are the ones that have been around for a while and that are not the newest and greatest. And if you are okay with going and experiencing that, or not, or I guess pacing yourself so that you're not tired of these places when everyone else is running over to the newest restaurant or whatever, you'll find that you may actually be able to get into places that you didn't think you could get into before because they're not as busy.
Yeah. Well, and truthfully, you're losing this restaurant, but I mean, the Riviera is going to have a new restaurant coming out that seems like it's going to be kind of a romantic type place. There's going to be new places that are opening. There's a new restaurant they're building in Japan. There's the space restaurant that's opening. I mean, there's a whole bunch of new restaurants opening up. So.
Yeah. I was going to say that. So between Artist's Point and that space restaurant alone, I mean, those are going to be hot ticket items for people, right?
Oh man, I so hope that space restaurant is open when I go next year. I want to go so badly to that. It just looks so cool.
Yeah, I want to go in there at some point too. I mean, it looks absolutely amazing, but I also don't want to be around a ton of people either.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. All right. We talked longer about this than I thought we would. So why don't we talk about everybody's favorite thing to complain about to wrap the show up?
All right.
And if you're a DVC member, you probably can guess what I'm talking about. And that's Moonlight Magic. So
yeah. So
we've got 2019 dates.
Sadly, none of them line up with either of my trips. So
mine either.
Yeah. So I'm a little bummed out about that, but hey, that's all right. It's again, it's a perk. I guess, that's the thing everybody needs to understand. Moonlight Magic is a perk. It hasn't been around forever and it won't be around forever. So
and truthfully, they are I do feel like they are trying hard to accommodate as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this before. There's a catch-22 with this because every time that there's a Moonlight Magic, you see people complaining that there are too many people there. And then every time there's a registration for Moonlight Magic, everyone's complaining that there's not enough spots. So we can't have it both ways, right? We can either have limited spots and a lot of short lines and stuff at the parks, or we can have more spots that more people get into and a little bit longer lines. So, it's funny to me they keep expanding this because I think the negative comments are in the minority. I think most people appreciate this and like it, and appreciate it as a perk. But do we want to read these dates off really quick so everybody knows what they are? I can do it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I was actually reading the booking process, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is the booking process is interesting because the booking process is the thing that people like to complain about the most. So we're going to talk about that in a sec because there's a change this year. So really quickly here, Disneyland, Thursday, January 31st, 2019. Booking begins on December 18th, so it's coming up here in a few weeks, depending on when you're listening to us. Magic Kingdom, Tuesday, February 5th, and Tuesday, February 12th of 2019. You can book them on Wednesday, January 9th, if you're staying on property. If you're staying during that time. Others can register on January 16th. Hollywood Studios, March 20th, March 27th, 2019. You can book those, if you have hotel reservations, you can book that on February 14th, and others can register a week later on the 21st. Epcot, we got May 13th, we got May 20th. Again, April 3rd to register if you're on property, April 10th if you're off. Animal Kingdom, we've got July 18th, August 8th. Oh, and we got a third date for that. We got August 22nd, which is cool. So that's pretty cool. They got 3 dates for that. So if you have hotel reservations, you can book June 5th. If you don't, you can book June 12th. And then Typhoon Lagoon on September 18th. And Wednesday, October 16th, and you can book those on August 14th or August 28th. So those are the booking times, and all of the dates that those are going to be. So hopefully some of you out there, and I'm sure some of you do, are going to be able, because we saw a bunch of people on Facebook say they're going to be going this year, which is cool. But I was interested. One of the things people complain about a lot with this is what happens is whenever they have registration for this, a ton of people crash the website because they all go on at once. But there's a new procedure. I don't know. Did you see this, Trevor? Are you looking at it now?
Yeah. I was reading it before, but I wanted to make sure I had it straight. So before I get to that real quick, I really hope, for our listeners or somebody out there, so everything that Tom just read off, like the dates and when you can book it, it would be great if we could link that. Because
well, I think we posted on the Facebook page when they came out. So
yeah, but no, I want to be able to like hot link to you just reading all of that stuff off at some point because I'm sorry, but I see this all the time on Facebook where people are asking about when can I book Moonlight Magic, and it's clear, like
it's right there.
They say it on the website if you go and look, and you're not looking, and
you gotta look.
But like I said, I would love to be able to, like have like just, I don't know, like a YouTube link or something that, here, this guy is reading all of this off for you because, you couldn't be bothered to go look on the website.
I mean, that's, whenever people ask questions on Facebook and when they could have just Googled it, I mean.
Yeah. And that's not to say, sometimes they want to, get an opinion or whatever, but when it's hard dates and and they're published dates, I'm sorry, I don't feel that I don't want to cut people slack because they really could have gone and looked themselves.
Somebody posted in one of the groups the other day, what's the temperature in Florida right now? And I'm like, just download a weather app, go to weather.com, man. Like do you want a member to just stick their finger in there? It's like, oh, it's chilly. Yeah. There's places you can go. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We got aside. But okay, so let's get back to the booking process. So
yeah.
So when you're booking, so the way they say it is when your booking window opens, you visit the page for the event you'd like to attend, and you select RSVP. So you go onto their website and you click a button basically, and you have to have your membership number ready. So they do expect that. So you can't, so that way this is to stop people from, botting it or people that, don't actually belong to DVC taking up spaces. So that's the first part. Once you've done that, you'll enter a virtual waiting room to secure your place in line so you won't have to refresh the page. And then when a spot opens up, you'll be taken to the registration form to sign up for Moonlight Magic. So what this is telling me is that, this is how they're stopping people from taking down the page, is that they're queuing people up in order to to basically
take stress off the page.
Take stress off the page, and it's also like a first come first serve. So
Yep.
if you want to get in there, make sure you get in and click that RSVP button as fast as you can, but then you have to wait. Like, sorry, but
if they were smart about this though, they would do it where it's like, okay, show up so registration, the waiting room opens at 9, but registration doesn't open until 10. And then you get, staggered people coming between 9 and 10, and you make it random. You make it not first come, first serve. You make it totally random, right? So it's like you get a place in line just randomly. And then so I was thinking about this. I feel like people just want to feel like they have a fair shake at it, right? They want to feel like they have a fair shot. And I feel like a lot of people, when the website crashes, they were like, well, this isn't fair. The website crashed for me,
Yeah. And so I think, my problem with what you're saying is that it turns it into a dice roll, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And
it kind of is already though, right?
well, but that's the problem right now. Whereas with this queue, with this RSVP thing, is that it is actually a proper first come first serve. So it is, as you get there and you click the button, whoever clicks the button gets it first. So you do want to be fast, but it also you don't run into that randomness of bad internet connection. You didn't refresh the page 6 times and the guy next to you did it 7 times, like. Yeah. So I can see where they're trying to mitigate that. The one funny thing that comes out of this for me though is that because they put you into a virtual waiting room, the first thought that came into my head is, I wonder if you can get a fast pass for this. But Disney, do not listen to me. Do not fast pass Moonlight Magic.
I was just thinking that it'd be funny if they put a chat room in there. If they just put a little chat in there.
Oh no! That would
devolve so quickly into it'd just be a mess.
Yelling. Yeah.
But I had a similar experience with these virtual waiting rooms, and I think this will work. I think this will prevent the site from crashing. I saw a lot of people very skeptical about this actually working for them, but just based on the way they're doing this, it makes me feel like it's going to prevent the site from crashing as badly as it usually does. So I'm hopeful.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're an IT guy, so I was wondering.
Well, I was actually going to say I've seen this for concert ticket sites.
Yep,
they do a similar thing to this. Is that to keep your place in line, and it's the back end technical of it is that basically they're using a secondary appliance to manage the load so that you don't take down the site. So
that's what I was thinking. That was the case. I know I did one of these for Hamilton tickets, and when I got in, it told me that I was number 48,000 in line, and that was random. So, needless to say, I did not get Hamilton tickets, being 48,000th in line. So this is similar to like what a Ticketmaster does with some of the popular concerts and things like Hamilton and Broadway shows that are popular. So.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see it as a bad thing. I think this is definitely for everybody that has criticized Disney and how they've handled DVC in the past. Mm-hmm. I think they're listening to that and they're trying to make it as fair and as reasonable as possible. So, I mean, anybody who isn't sure about it, give it a chance. See how the first one goes here in a couple of weeks.
That's my feeling too. Let's see how it goes, and maybe it's going to work perfectly, and maybe it's not. But as long as they're trying to be better, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. One other thing, just real quick, back to the dates. I'm actually surprised that Typhoon Lagoon is in September and October.
That is a little weird.
Yeah, because that's hurricane season, so
well,
I mean, I know any of them could be canceled due to a hurricane, but
true.
If it's rainy and everything, the last thing I really want to do is go to Typhoon Lagoon.
I feel like they usually do the Typhoon Lagoon ones in the dead of summer, like in June, July.
Yeah, I was gonna say last time was June, so I'm wondering. I'm betting it's probably one they're trying to they're trying to make sure that people get into Hollywood studios because that's what people are really wanting.
Yeah,
and Animal Kingdom. And
and they're not going to do Magic Kingdom in September, October because they have the party. They already have some nights that they're closing for the Halloween parties.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like I said, it makes sense logically. It's just and I shouldn't say this because honestly, I would go swimming there in September, October because to me, even when it's 18 degrees Celsius, which I guess is like, I don't know, 50, no, not 50. Sorry, I can't convert to Fahrenheit right now. But even when it's not like, super warm, I'm Canadian. I can get in cold water and it doesn't bother me. So
I know what you mean. It's actually been closed a couple times recently because of cold weather. So, which is interesting. But anyway,
yeah.
So I don't think we have anything else here. Do we want to just wrap this thing up? I think we talked a lot today and we learned some things.
Yeah, we got a lesson learned out of it. I think that's a win for the episode. So I
mean, of course, I sound like an idiot in the beginning of it because I said the totally wrong thing. But
no. I mean, it's fair though because first of all, we appreciate our listeners coming in and giving us
of course.
Their information, because obviously some of you guys, you do spend more time looking through this stuff than we do. And I mean, we do try to, but we just haven't ran into every situation. So we appreciate the feedback, but sometimes when we get conflicting stories, the end result is, we do have to talk to DVC, and at the very end of it all, we all learn something. So
yep,
I'm happy with that.
We've got some blind spots here and there. We're going to have those because, that's a kind of, I feel like it's a fairly unique situation for a lot of people because I'm sure most people buy the same use year and they don't have two different membership numbers. So it's not something that comes up for everybody. But I know now that I know that information, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good.
It changes my perspective too on, possibly looking at a separate contract. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up.
All right. Okay. So, you guys have been good about sending us emails, so keep doing it. And
we've gotten a ton lately.
Yeah, and for those that don't want to send us an email and don't know what the email address is, it's welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. So keep them coming, guys. We enjoy reading these. We enjoy talking to you guys. I think it creates a fun interaction between the show and our listeners. So yeah, keep it coming.
And we answer every email and every message you send us. We are not like jaded or anything at this point. We will answer every single one. It might be a week later, and I apologize for that, but we answer all of them.
Yeah, we do try, but the three of us, obviously, we all have our lives and stuff, but we do try our best to engage you guys. So if we haven't answered you right away, don't feel that we're ignoring you or anything. It's just real life sucks some days. Life. So yeah,
holidays, babies.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, keep the emails coming because it's fantastic. Website, welcomehomepodcast.com. So cool. Someday we're going to do something with that. I don't know.
I'm just going to leave it on there forever because I love it.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, as usual, more questions. I guess not even questions. If there's stuff you want us to talk about, just let us hear your thoughts. Fire us an email. If there's certain things you want us to discuss, or if we talked about something and you want to hear more about it, we can try and go back and visit some of these things. So,
or if you think we're idiots and our opinions are dumb, let us know.
Well, yeah, and I mean we're more than willing to listen. I mean,
of course,
we don't we don't figure this stuff out if we don't talk about it. So
I'm not going to speak for Damon. I don't think Damon will change his mind.
Well, but that's cool too.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, and as usual, I mean, you guys can find us on social media. So Twitter and Instagram. Instagram's Welcome Home Pics. Twitter's Welcome Home Pod. Those actually feed to our Facebook, which is our real place that we actually interact with you guys. And on Facebook, it's Welcome Home Podcast. So, check out our Facebook page. We do try to post stuff on there in between episodes that if we feel it's relevant or that we think you guys might be interested in. So yeah, come say hi on Facebook. We like talking to you guys on Facebook as well. And also, if you picked up the podcast either on iTunes or on Google or throughout whatever podcast service you're using, make sure you leave us a review too, because believe it or not, those reviews actually do help us get more visibility, so more people can listen to the podcast.
Yeah. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. We're real easy to find. And, of course, as always, just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions expressed on this show are our own, so please consult the DVC representative for more information, like we did today, live on the show.
We'll do it too. So
we'll do it too. It's the best source to get real information, and so I talked to a very nice DVC cast member today. So you do the same if you have questions about anything we talked about today, to make sure you confirm those things. So big thank you to DVC Resale Market as always for sponsoring this episode and being really good friends and working with us as much as they do. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion and, of course, more Disney Vacation Club talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
We do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.